Hi everybody, this is Boog S Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Marvel Select Thor and Groot 2-pack. So before we take a look at Thor, since he has the most accessories, let's go ahead and take a look at Groot. So Groot only comes with one accessory. He comes with his little video game here. And what was the name of this? I want to say it was the Sega Defender. And this looks much better than what came with the Marvel Legends version. The Marvel Legends version didn't even look like this. It just looked like a clear space tablet. So, yeah, this looks pretty good. It's got a little bit of sculpt and paint detail to it, but not much. And Groot can hold it. He can hold it pretty well in one hand. And then just have him hold it like that. So he can hold it in both hands as well. So that's pretty cool. Where did I put it? Oh, here. Here was what the Marvel Legends version came with, was this. And as you can see, this one definitely blows the Marvel Legends one out of the water. Especially because the head sculpt that was on it was horrible. I switched it to the basic version. The like $9 version. Because it was more accurate than the one it came with. So taking a look at Groot's head sculpt, like I said before, this head sculpt is much more accurate. The eyes are much bigger than the Legends version. And as you can see, it is a different color. I thought it was just black, but now with the light on it, you can see it's brown and black pupils. And it's really shiny, so if you have the light on it, it'll look like a glimmer of light in his eyes. And then he has just a slight brush of... I can't tell if it's a dry brush or a wash. I think it's a dry brush of green over his head and some areas on his torso, whereas this one just painted them on. Like, it wasn't just a slight wash or slightly painted on. This was painted on. And, I don't know, it just looks really funny. I mean, when we got this version, it was good, because that's the only one we got. But now that we have this one, it definitely blows that one out of the water. I like all the sculpt detail to him. It looks like real wood. And then they did a wash of black. That just really brought out so many of the details. Like, it just looks really good. Like, even inside his head right there. Well, not inside his head, the top of his head, I should say. That's some nice sculpting detail to it. But yeah, this looks really, really good. Like, comparing them side by side, this one definitely looks much better and much more accurate. It almost reminds me of like SH Figure Arts or one of those overseas companies. That's how good it looks. My only complaint is he has these weird leg joints. Like, they're like rectangles. And they bend forward like that because there's no place to stop them. Like, there's not a... like, it's not out. So, hold on here. Drop this. So nothing stops his knees from going forward. And that's, like I said, that's my only complaint with this. Well, actually, one more complaint. It's that the swivel at the hips right here, or the swivel at the thigh, it doesn't move. This is just his hips that are moving. So that is pretty irritating. As you can see, they move slightly, but it feels like they're going to break, so I don't want to force them. But looking right down here at his feet, no sculpting to the bottoms of them. But yeah, he has a lot of sculpt detail to his feet. I feel like they used a little bit too much of the gloss, like the black color. It might just be a really, really dark brown now that I'm looking at it. I think it just might be really, really dark brown instead of black. But still, I think they should have used like a flattener on it because it gets really shiny down here. But I like how they switched the shades. Like, it goes from the light brown into the, like, moss, the greenish color. And then has a little bit of the dark brown. It just looks really nice. The sculpt detail on Groot is pretty insane. As opposed to this one. I mean, they sculpted it in there, but I don't feel like it looks as, like, realistic as this one. So now let's take a look at his articulation. He has a ball-jointed head that can look up all the way. Can't really look down, but it can move side to side. He has ball-jointed shoulders that can only move out that far. The plates on his shoulder right here do hinder that. He has single-jointed elbows that can bend in pretty far. It also swivels side to side. He has swivel thrusts that can move side to side and up and down. he has ball-jointed torso. They can't really move back, but can move all the way forward and side to side. He has ball-jointed hips that can just about do a complete split. He can kick forward that far, and really can't kick back. He has that swiveled thigh, but like I said, it doesn't work, and I'm not going to force it because I don't want to break it. Then he has double-jointed knees, and he has swiveled the ankle that can move up all the way, down all the way, and has a good ankle rocker. So now let's get him holding his game here. I think I put it in his hand upside down. I did. But there he is. And those ankle rockers really do help to stabilize him because he is a very tall and thin figure. And that really scared me. Like, I figured he would fall down and probably break. Hold on. There. Now I have him. And that really did scare me. But now that I have it, I see that the feet really help because they are heavier than the figure. So it does help to keep him balanced. Okay, so now let's take a look at Thor. Now, he comes with quite a few accessories here. So, hold on here. Let me move Groot out of the way. I feel like he's just in my way. He has alternate hands. He has 4 pairs of alternate hands. Well, 4 pairs, including this one. So, the first pair is the fisted hands. As you can hear, they are kind of tough to get out because it's a really thin peg, and as you can see, some of the paint's already coming off of it. So I don't want to switch them around too much. He comes with some relaxed hands. Let's go ahead and put those on. Hold on here. These are difficult to get in, so I'm just leaving him laying down here while I'm doing it. So there is his relaxed hands. And my favorite ones are, of course, the hands for gripping Stormbreaker. But I have to show them off since this is a review. Oh. I just knocked my camera backwards. And he comes with these hands, which I'm thinking, slight spoiler alert here. I mean, Infinity War's been out for just about a year, so I figure I can put a little bit of a spoiler in this video. So I think this is when he throws Stormbreaker into Thanos' chest and he's just standing there while Stormbreaker's in Thanos' chest. Is I think what that is. When he's just standing there. When he's looking at Thanos like that. I mean, they don't look too bad. I mean, it's kind of weird because I feel like they should have just not include these because that's probably the only, like, if you make this scene with your figures, that's probably the only thing you're going to use these hands for. And finally, he has the Stormbreaker holding hands. And when I say I like them the best, I also have the most complaints with them. So, the next accessory is Stormbreaker, and I will show off why I have a problem with these. Not just because they're tough to get in. Okay, so next, or his final accessory here, is Stormbreaker. And Stormbreaker looks really good. I love the sculpt detail to it. As you can see, there's a tiny bit of brown in there, but it's not something big. The handle, though, has a lot of sculpt and paint detail to it. And I love that. It has a lot more paint detail to it than this one. I ended up doing a black wash over it, so that's why it has a little bit of detail to it. But there they are. And I think I like the color on this one better. Like I said, this one's just darker because I did a black wash to it. Now, as you can see, Stormbreaker here is really thin, okay? Well, his hands are really spaced out. Like, he can hold it like that, but he can't hold it like this. As you can see, it's just way too thin and just falls down like that. So that is pretty frustrating. The only way you're going to get him to hold it in a really good position is if you have him hold it in both hands. And that sucks. You shouldn't have to do that. I mean, this is a really, really good 2-pack. That's my main complaint. Like, that is the biggest complaint I have with the whole thing, is that his hands can't hold it. I might try to boil them, but they're a really soft plastic, so I figured that if I do boil them and get them to where they should be, to where they're tighter, then it'll probably just go right back to how it is in a few hours. That's what happens with that kind of material when it's like that, is it'll stay, maybe not even for a few hours, it might just stay for like 30 minutes. So now let's take a look at the head sculpt of Thor. So taking a look at the head sculpt isn't bad. I mean, it's not perfectly accurate to Chris Hemsworth, but I think it's pretty good. You know, like maybe 85% Chris Hemsworth is what I'm going to say. I do like the hair. The hair is much more accurate than the Marvel Legends version. The Marvel Legends version I had to correct a lot of things on, which this one does have some of those issues, like it's not perfectly accurate to what we see in the movie, but I'm not going to change this one since I already changed my Marvel Legends one so much. The Marvel Legends version one had blonde hair, and in the movie he has the brownish hair, and his hair is sculpted really nicely. It's cast in that, I think his whole head is cast in the brown color. Or maybe, let me see here. Oh no, it's cast in the skin color. I thought it was cast in brown. I guess it's cast in the skin color. The dark brown is painted over it, and then they also paint light brown over it, which gives it a nice paint variation. And you can tell that his left eye is bigger than his right eye, and that is intentional because this is when he gets his eye back. And you can see that he has that scar there. And I think the scar looks really nice. Like on the Marvel Legends version, they didn't give him enough of a scar. And showing it right here. Like, I corrected the eyes on this one because the eyes just looked really, really spotty on mine. I corrected the hair. I gave him a cloth cape because the inside of it in the movie is black. And then I painted his armor, or his chainmail on his sleeves, like a really, really dark silver, like almost black color, because that would be accurate to how he looks in the movie. And like I said, since I have this version, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to paint it. I feel like they made his lips a little too pink. I don't know. They just look... It kind of looks like he's wearing lipstick. I think maybe they should have toned down the color just a little bit. And on his torso right here, he has a nice wash of gray. And I think that just looks really, really good. Like, I wish Hasbro would have done this with the Marvel Legends version. Because if they would have done this, I don't think I would have painted it. Who knows, maybe I would have, because I do like things to be accurate. And he has a nice sculpt detail to his arms on that chainmail armor right there. But he does not have a bicep swivel. That's what I thought was really odd. It's just the shoulder right here, and then the elbow. There's nothing in between right there. And he has some nice sculpting to his, what are these called? Are they bracers? Wrist guards? Whatever they're called. They have some nice sculpting detail to them. And on all of his hands, he has a wash of brown, making him look kind of dirty. And I think that looks pretty good. And then they also did a wash of gray over his pants. And he has some sculpt detail to his knee pads right here. He also has some wash to his shin guards. I think that's something that Diamond Select did a really good job of, is they did a lot of wash over this figure. Like, I feel like the only way this could have been made better, I mean, other than the hands, is they should have done a black wash over the chainmail right here on his arms, just to bring out a lot of that sculpt detail. And here is his cape. It does have some variation in color to it in the wrinkles there, and that looks really, really nice. That just looks really good. Like I said, this has a lot of really nice paint detail to it. I think Diamond Select did a really good job of that. But it is really, really hard plastic. Like, there is hardly any give to it at all. I feel like they should have went with a really rubbery kind of plastic, because as you can see, if he doesn't want to stand up, you can just lean him against his cape. That is how heavy it is. Or, you know, that's how it doesn't have any give, is that you can completely lean him against his cape, and he will stand. So now let's go over his articulation. He has a ball-jointed head that can look up all the way, can't look down all the way. He can move his head side to side. He has ball-jointed shoulders. Let me go ahead and take this out of his hands for this part. He has ball-jointed shoulders that can move out all the way. He has single-jointed elbows that can't quite bend in all the way. That is a little bit bothersome. It also swivels side to side. He has hinges on these hands that can hinge up and down and side to side. All the rest of the hands just have normal swivels that swivel up and down and side to side. But these have a hinge because they're his Stormbreaker holding hands. He has a ball-jointed diaphragm that can move back slightly and can move down slightly, or back and forth just slightly. It can move side to side. He has those double swivel hips that can do a complete split, but his cape is so hard you really can't see it. Honestly, I'm not surprised that he can just stand like this because of his cape and how heavy it is. He has swivel at the thigh, double jointed knee, swivel at the ankle that can move up and down, and an ankle rocker. So now let's do some size comparisons here. So, that is a horrible pose. But here he is next to the Marvel Legends Thor. And as you can see, he is just slightly taller than him. If he's standing upright like that, you can see that it is not very much of a difference. Here he is next to Groot. And the size difference works really well. Let me move the camera back there. The size difference is pretty good. And then here they are, as you can hear me moving. Here they are next to Rocket Raccoon. And the size difference really isn't too bad. I mean, let me compare them to some normal 6-inch figures. Here they are next to the Infinity War Captain America. And Thor is pretty tall. He's a lot taller than Captain America. But he's not too tall that he won't fit in your Legends collection too. I usually only buy Marvel Selects that'll scale with Legends. And he is tall, but not too tall. Now, Team Groot is just a little bit too tall, because he should be shorter than Star-Lord. But, like I said, again, you can make it work. So there he is next to Star-Lord. And finally, here they are next to Thanos. And I really thought that Thor would be taller than Thanos, or as tall as Thanos. And I think Thanos is like 9 feet tall. So if you look at it, that would mean like Thor would be like 8 feet tall. But Thanos is still taller than Thor, so you can make that work. So overall, I really, really like this set. I think it is definitely better than the Marvel Legends versions we got of these. I just wish Thor would have had slightly better articulation, and I wish he could hold Stormbreaker. That is really my only major complaint, is that I wish he could hold Stormbreaker with his Stormbreaker holding hands. But other than that, it is a really solid set. So I'd highly recommend it. So that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.